The social platforms that we use today are all centralized. Whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Zoom, or any of a dozen others, both people and organizations rely on giant monolithic corporations to connect them, mediate their interactions, and manage their data, identity, and even their brand. Everyone's looking for a viable alternative, like WordPress, that helps people just publish their own website and blog and own their own data. And so WordPress has actually gone on to power 30% of all websites in the world. And people build businesses on top of this open platform. They're able to sell directly to the publishers and website owners without any intermediaries, without worrying about someone cutting off their API keys and so on. But WordPress is sort of a Web 1.0. It's one-directional publishing. And the question is, what about Web 2.0? Things that we've gotten used to, like chatting and video conferencing and collaborating and so on. That's the kind of stuff we expect Facebook and Telegram to do. But what alternative do you have if you want to have your own social network where you own the data and the platform? Well, welcome to Qbix. We've built exactly this. We build a community server that any organization can use to launch their own extended online community for their members without having to rely on any of these third-party large organizations, corporations, etc. What if you could own your platform? Wouldn't that be cool? Well, it turns out we already are doing pretty well. We have 2,000 new users a day downloading the apps that we have in the stores. And this year, our projected gross revenue is $350,000. Actually, here's our historical revenue. And if you look, Qbix has a good track record of generating substantial new revenue streams every time we raise money. If you look at these spikes, they actually followed our friends and family round and then the angel investors, because we know exactly what low-hanging fruit to grab in order to increase the user base and the traction and generate new revenue streams. Let's talk about our existing apps in the stores. Groups helps people to make sense of a giant contact list. And Calendars helps people to make sense of a giant event list. As you can imagine, if you have a giant contact list, you're probably some sort of teacher or community leader. And in fact, out of the 2,000 people that download Groups and Calendars, 300 people tell us every day that they have a community. So unlike many startups that you see, we're not worried about how we're going to get our users or how we're going to acquire or spend money on user acquisition. No, we need to just worry about one thing: selling that community server to the group leaders who are using our products already. We need to automate that sales funnel. See, they all have a problem. They are engaging in one-directional communication, whether it's email, SMS, Facebook, or Twitter. They're essentially blasting messages at people. Think of like your alumni association of your university, right? How often do you get emails like, please come to our events, or please donate to our organization, right? Do you engage very much? As you can imagine, their engagement rate's not very good, and they're willing to pay to actually release some kind of tool to let the people talk to each other. Because if you have your community organizers and your thought leaders and your activists and whatever other roles you have in your specific community talking to each other, then when you post your donation and the fundraiser and events, they're going to be a lot more relevant because you're dating alumni in your college and you're doing business deals. So that college alumni organization is still relevant in your life. That's the key. And we call this the social operating system because it's not just an app, but it's actually a bunch of components and they all work together and you can combine them like Legos to create any app you want. You can add it to your existing website and app, and it works across all devices. It works on a desktop browser, it works on tablets, it even works in mobile phones, and we can even help you to release an app in the app stores. So pretty much any format you want or all of them, and it's all unified and works across everything. Here is a little demo. You can see it working. On the left, you've got the website, and on the right, you've got a mobile phone essentially showing the same thing. As you can see here, you've got events, people checking in, QR codes, attendance, people keeping in touch, adding each other to their contacts, right? Keeping in touch. They can even do video conferencing with each other, which is what you can do on Telegram and WhatsApp. But this time, it's inside your own website that you own. And you can customize the look of how it looks and so on. Because of this extreme reusability, this is how we streamline the cost of custom app development. And every year our profit margins get bigger and bigger. We look like an agency to the outside world, like we're building a custom, social app for you, but in fact we can quickly put it together because of the technology that we have. Today, if you wanted to build your own social network or app, what would you do? Would you use WordPress? No. You would probably have to hire someone to build an app for you. And of course, that's pretty expensive. You needed to raise a lot of money historically to do that. Now, today, there are some cookie cutter apps out there like Bizabo for conferences or Disciple. They charge around $600 a month or maybe $5,000 all in. But finally, Qbix can have the sort of affordability of these cookie cutter guys with the total flexibility of having your own team. That's the key. Just like with WordPress, where there's themes and all this kind of stuff, that's what you're going to get with the Qbix marketplace. So what are our target markets? Well, there's so many, but we are just focusing on a few verticals. Conferences and event organizers really need to move things online, have their conferences online, especially this year. So, it's become a must-have, the sort of product that we do. Schools and nonprofits need to organize the teaching online and the conversations between students and teachers, or teachers and parents, or, for example, group study sessions. All these roles and permissions, that's what we enable exactly as the school needs it. And of course, there's different celebrities and brands and shows that want to unite their fans into a community, right? And if you have buildings and neighbors want to talk to each other and maybe date each other, and there's book exchanges and all that kind of stuff, that's the kind of stuff that can be built, and numerous other applications we haven't thought of because of third-party development, right? So our total addressable market size, if you look at the total addressable size of like what WordPress enabled, right? Publishing and all that stuff, hundreds of billions of dollars, because so many organizations just want to have their own internal social network, but they can't at the moment. The obtainable market size that we can capture is a fraction of that, but it's quite a lot of money. In fact, we can start with those 300 people a day that use our apps. Oh yeah. There's one more thing. We already have paying customers and traction, and we've done this over and over and over. We've closed projects between $5,000 to $100,000, and we've experimented with high-touch sales and essentially landing high-ticket enterprise customers. So we've run the gamut, and now what we want to do is essentially automate the process. What's also cool is that we have a SaaS product that on the back end can generate recurring revenues between $100 and $500 a month, because they need to pay for hosting and maintenance, and they're happy to do both the upfront cost and the recurring cost. So going forward, we use the funds very simply. We need to automate our sales process that we've been doing manually. We can't even get to the 300 people a day that are coming in. We're just putting them on a wait list. And now we need to have an experience where they come in, they see exactly the features and what each feature will bring. They choose the ones they want. They listen to testimonials, and then they just put in their credit card, and they start inviting their community. And once their community is on there, of course, they're kind of hooked, because if they stop paying us, everyone's complaining about what's happening with the software. Secondly, the enterprise sales that we've done, we can train a sales team all around the world, different languages, to go and sell in their respective countries, right? And make commissions. So that's another thing. Of course, we need the materials, and we need to provide them with the electronic signatures and the documents and the statements of work that they can easily customize as they sell the Qbix platform. And finally, we need to train more developers and train and create jobs, essentially, for developers and designers, same way that the WordPress ecosystem has, themes and designers, because when people come in, they want it to look a certain way and so on. Yes, many of them come for just the SaaS and they just customize a few things about their site, but others want full customization, and we want to be able to offer it for the tens of thousands of dollars price point. So that's essentially what we do. This is our team, who you can meet if you reach out to us. Zach and I go back about 10 years. All of us are really passionate, and we won't stop until we've liberated the world from Facebook, Amazon, and so on as being the only ways that you can host your marketplace or your own community. I designed the platform myself, actually, and each developer owns responsibility for a certain part of it. So our team's really cool. Let's have a conversation. And again, I don't want this to be a one-way conversation, right? If we've said anything, it's that we should be in a dialogue. So please email us at team@qbix.com. Send us an email and let's talk about it. Let's answer whatever questions you may have. I'd love to see what ideas you have for us. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.